Item 4, special presentations. As pro tem, I have the pleasure to present to you the Honorable Mayor Perrin, City of Jonesboro, Annual State of the City Address. Mayor Perrin.
Thank you very much. Mr. President Pro Tem, Madam Clerk, Madam City Attorney, members of the City Council, members of the media, distinguished guests, and the citizens of Jonesboro. You know, it seems like this time, but 10 years ago, I've been doing this now for the State of the City. It seems like every year that I do that, it just gets better every year on the accomplishments that our staff and administration has done and the things that you all pass in the ordinances and resolutions. So I want to go through some of the PowerPoints that we have done last year in the City of Jonesboro. If you will, just kindly follow through with me and we'll go through those. First of all, I always state that there's no way that you can run a city on sales tax alone. Unless you have a revenue stream, particularly in grants and the partners that you see here, and this is becoming nationwide, is that you have to have public-private partnerships to do anything. This is a very small list of the partners that we work with. You can see there on the Blue and You Foundation. Blue and You has given this city over 6 figures, particularly on the Stop the Bleeding Foundation. They gave us for Spencer Gwynn and some of the things that they've done here in our training. So again, that's a very small amount. The point I want to make is that we are very pleased and very honored to have these people join us in making this city what it is for citizens here today in the quality of life. So again, very small amount of our partners. Next, let's just take a look at the finance department. I'm very pleased, and you all know this, but we did receive a very clean audit. There was absolutely no exceptions on the legislative audit for the City of Jonesboro in the year of 2018. In addition to that, also Trevor Harvey was promoted to Director of Finance within the accounting department. And we also implemented an automatic time and attendance program and tracking system, which is still being implemented. And we also created a budget for 2019 for $64.9 million. And again, that includes $4.9 million in capital spending and improvements for the City of Jonesboro. In the area of the fire department, you can see that the fire department was extremely busy by having 5,357 calls. There were 529 of those for fire, but here's the big key. 3,411 of those calls were for emergency or rescue. And you see a lot of the fire trucks that pull up on wrecks and et cetera. I've had a lot of comments from people and citizens that they were very pleased, and our equipment is completely has all the equipment you need, the life of jaws and et cetera that's on those equipment. So again, I would hope someday that we'll be able to get that down to where we could have the trucks on there like you see in some of the larger cities where you would not have to take the entire major fire truck there. But until we get better staffed, and the other one, we'll have to use what we're doing now. But I'm very pleased to say that they have done an incredible job on the 3,400 calls. In addition to that, they have 115 personnel, but they also did over 20,644 hours of training. So you can see that's a lot of training for our fire department, and they do that every year to keep up to date. They also do inspections. You can see that where they come into a business, inspect your entire sprinkler system, things of that nature, and they did almost 4,200 of those in 2018. They also held 108 public education events, reaching almost 4,600 people last year. And that's in addition to everything that you just heard about. Now, in the police department, you can see here that there were over almost 75,000 officers that were dispatched last year. We also graduated 37 citizens from our Citizens Police Academy, which is incredible. I don't know the exact number. I would say it's well over 200, 300 people that is now in the what I call alumni of the Police Academy, and that's very intense. Almost 2 to 3 hours every Thursday for about 8 weeks, and they'll go through everything that the police department does. In addition to that, if you remember, Blaine Middlecoff, and again, thanks to Blue and You just saw the slide before, we were able to have the kits in our patrol cars. The little girl that was stabbed by her father, if you remember, Blaine saved that child's life with a tourniquet in there, and he was also recognized as the Officer of the Year. In addition to that, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Little Rock did a tremendous spread on Blaine as well as video, and they're showing that on a national basis. So we're real pleased that Blaine was, A, he was trained, prepared to do that, and 2, he had the equipment to do it when he got there. We also, or they hosted several community outreach events throughout the year. Many of these you know. The one that actually stands out is our National Night Out, as well as our Special Olympics games that we do every year, and they do the run on that. Street Crimes Unit last year did almost 2,600 arrests, seized $1.1 million worth of drugs. And also we received the mask kits from the Stop the Bleeding Foundation. You can see at the bottom right of your photo there. And that's not just our police department, that's in Northeast Arkansas. So that's Park Tree, all the other cities around us got the same kits, and we had that event here in Jonesboro. One thing I'll say here on the deal, obviously we did not start off 2019 in a good year on crime. I can tell you that our police department is being proactive. You read in the paper where with the prosecuting attorney and others, they have formed an organization to do that. Much tougher on the crimes, and there'll be a lot more releases that will be coming out in 2019. And the chief and I are also working on another one that we will be bringing out fairly shortly in town. But again, folks, this is a national issue. It's not a Jonesboro issue. We understand and know that these are tied to basically gangs. And again, it's back and forth type deal. This is not a random crime deal or something that's going out and just doing that. I just want to assure the safety of the people of Jonesboro that we are being proactive and we're doing everything we possibly can on our crime in the city of Jonesboro. Next, on our E911. In E911, we did over 230,000 calls that were processed last year. 140 of those were dispatched for emergency services to our citizens. And we also upgraded our digital mapping, and you'll see in a minute, which they won the state award last year for the vehicle tracking. And basically what that says is that if a call comes through 911 to the police officer and or the fire department, it will show you where it's at. And it will show you the quickest and safest way to get to that point. Time is of essence when we get those calls at 911 that goes out to our people in uniform. So we definitely want to get upgraded. We did that, and because of that, we did get a state award. And also, we upgraded our text 911 system in the 911 center. In animal control, you can see that we installed 6 new outside kennels last year. And we received over 400 volunteer hours of people come out and volunteer. Our citizens here in this town comes out and helps Sergeant Rogers with the animal control. And we're very appreciative of that because they do a lot of things for us in that, and we can't say thanks enough to these people. In addition to that, they responded to 18,000, over almost 19,000 calls in the Animal Control Division for the city of Jonesboro. We sheltered almost 1,600 dogs and 116 cats. We also did adoption of almost 368 animals, and we rescued 148, and that's incredible. In fact, the adoption, I think, is up from last year. We also held 4 low-cost animal clinics throughout the year, vaccinated and neutered 3,274 animals within the city of Jonesboro. In the Office of Inspections, this is going to be quite interesting. In the residential area, you can see that on our single family, 357 homes. On duplexes, 10, which means 20 doors or 20 units. On our multifamily, we did 39, which is 341 units. And on the commercial side, we did 31 buildings. And our total permits is the second highest the city of Jonesboro has ever done at $271 million, which is absolutely an incredible year for the city of Jonesboro. I will tell you that we, the inspections and the planning department actually approved 17 new subdivisions. You all approved 17 new subdivisions last year. 8 of those are active, meaning the developers are in there now. The last one you approved, if in fact they build 2 plans, that is approximately 1,182 new homes in the next 18 to 24 months that we'll have police, fire, sanitation, recycling, and all of that to do. So I want to just, again, one of those is almost 1,200 homes that we'll be adding to the city of Jonesboro. That is absolutely incredible. So it definitely takes money to do a lot of those services, that, and you know that as well as I do. Next, on Parks and Recreation, in our Joe Mount Campbell Park, we, as you know, did the artificial turf on those 10 fields for $1,092,000. We also had to have a maintenance shop. The other one, we outgrew that maintenance shop tremendously on the traffic that we have there. That has been completed. We also had to do a new concession stand and restrooms at the, actually at the west end of the deal where the little kids play. And that came in at $580,000. Craighead Forest Park. We did the pump track installation. Again, that was on a grant of $198,000. You can see that at the bottom of your of the slide. We also did the RV park expansion. That's something, if you hadn't been out there lately, to come by and just drive through and see all the people who are camping there. And that place has a high occupancy all the time in the park. And we're real pleased to do that. But we added 5 last year with water and sewer and all of that to those deals. So we're real pleased to be able to add that. You'll also see just in a moment the Craighead Forest won 2 awards this year. We also, Rhodey Centennial Park, the wall and playground is updated, a total of $60,000. On the Earl Bell, which I'm extremely proud of, we opened up the Midtown Dog Park, which is really being used. But in addition to that, on the south side ballpark, we had our LED lights. If you'll remember, those lights that were put up many years ago, a lot of the players complained of the vision of where the light was coming down, and now all of those were put up at a total of $940,000. And that's all fields at Southside Ball Complex. We also did another concession stand, and with restrooms, new safety nets, again on Highway 1, facing Highway 1. Total cost of that was $795,000. In our land bank, this is something new. We're the second in the state. Little Rock was the first to establish a land bank. A land bank is basically a commission that looks at revitalization within your city. They look at blighted areas, and they also are looking for donations of land that they can clean up and fix up, to get back to developers, to get something back on the tax books on the houses, as well as possibly acquisitions. And so I think you're going to see a lot of activity, and the land bank will be giving you all a report in May on the first 5 months of this year. It was established, and also we did our first donation. We've also actually had 2 donations, and since this report, and then we also had the property on the State Land Commission. We purchased 2 of those on Bridge Street, and also we approved an initial demolition and rehabilitation projects throughout the land bank. On our jet system, and I wish again, and I say this every year, that Flo Jones and Lee Hummelstein could be here. When we looked at this, this is certainly economic development, but more importantly, it's giving people rides that absolutely need to ride the bus. Total ridership last year was 134,000 riders that rode our jet bus system. I think a lot of that is tied to the picture you see there, where we got the grant to be able to put in a transfer station. To me, that showed stability. They showed permanent, that we have it there, and it really helps our drivers in transporting the ridership to go from one place to another very quickly. We had our fixed route base of 123 riders. On our Red Wolf, and this is to the ball game, did almost 1,200 of those. And again, you can park on Kate Street, take this bus, and go to the ball game and back, and they take you right to the front door. They even start on the third quarter coming back. Now, I think it's every 15 to 20 minutes the buses run. On our youth program, real pleased. As y'all know, y'all passed this, and that is free. During the summer, our youth had 1,741 riderships that can ride to work and go to places during the summer at no cost. I think that's great for our youth for our town. Our paratransit, again, this is where you go to the hospital But again, this is something you have to call and make an appointment where we pick you up in our specialized vehicles. And Perrin Transit did over 10,507 transfers last year alone. We also completed our 10-year transit study, which is required by the Federal Highway Administration. And we also finished our bus stops that were ADA compliant throughout the year. And what you will be seeing soon, and we have a meeting this week, again, one of our partners, Arkansas State University and their IT department in the city of Jonesboro. You will be able to look at your phone and see where the bus is on real time, and it will also tell you how many minutes it is before it gets to your destination. And that is absolutely incredible. So we'll be visiting with Henry Torres this Thursday, our IT department in there. So that's, again, I want to keep stressing, partnership, partnership, partnership. And that's what's made this town highly successful. Our quality of life and code enforcement, again, they did over 5,000 of those that addressed complaints. But here's the good news. I think 75.8 of those were officer initiated. Only 24.2 of those were citizen complaints. So what's the goal? The goal is to get the 24 down, to where we'll be more proactive in looking at these things as they drive by and look at those, and we get them completed before a citizen has to make a complaint. Okay? You'll not get rid of all of them, but again, our goal is to take these figures, put it on a scorecard, look at it next year and see, did we do any better this year than we did last year? And that's the same way with finance or anything that we do in the city. They did 6,393 ordinance violations that were found. And we also demoed 29 structures. We have 15 pending. Since I have been mayor, we have probably demolition 50 homes per year. So that's over 500 homes that we've cleaned up, the blighted areas. And you all know exactly what that means. That could be a crack house, that could be a drug deal, or whatever's going on. But folks, you cannot have a city to grow and be perspective and look at that way as far as safety is concerned until you take care of those blighted areas. So again, I'm very pleased with that, and we'll be continuing to do more of those. We also renovated 18 homes back to compliance. We didn't, but the homeowners did. So again, if you're going to live in Jonesboro, keep your place nice, clean, neat, and that's what it's all about. We're a first-class city. We certainly want to continue to be that. In the sanitation department, you all know we started our new recycling program on our roll carts out there. We've had lots of people saying thanks so much because they didn't like the blue bags sitting out there in the rain, and some dog may get in there, and et cetera. So we're real pleased on that. The program has already collected over 467 tons of recycling materials in 2018. And here's the key. Sanitation services over 31,000 homes on a weekly basis. Now, that's a lot of homes. Now, you remember I told you the one subdivision? Add 1,121 to that in just one subdivision, but we approved more than that. So just keep that in mind as we go through there. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of homes, and we're going to continue seeing that throughout the city. Not only that, but commercial. We also disposed of 28,297 tons of trash, and we incinerated 6,800 tons. Now, I wished I had another incinerator because, again, you and I both know that we have to pay a tipping fee when it goes to legacy landfill, even though we are an owner in that organization. The city put in $4 million in that legacy operation down there. And we're now paying almost $38 a ton. If you incinerate it and burn it in the ash, put it on the truck, take it across the scales, you can see the total savings that we had in putting the incinerator in several years ago. We also collected 4,500 tons of yard waste. And we also performed, and here's what I like, is that I hope we could get more associations involved in this. And that is, if you remember, many years ago, we had what was called Clean Sweep. And it was one day a year. Well, now we're doing it in sections of town, which is the Fairview, West End, Scenic Hills, and North Jonesboro. You wouldn't believe the volume of stuff that we work with these people that come in. I know that Dr. Coleman can tell you that. That's on the council, particularly in North Jonesboro, what we do in one day, just one day alone in those neighborhoods. So again, I would encourage people to look and see if we can get more associations started throughout the city of Jonesboro. On our NEA Regional Transportation Planning Commission, Basically, this is what was called our MPO and changed the name. And what's really important at that is that we just got a new director. As you all know, Erica left and went to Philadelphia with her husband on a job in Philadelphia. And so now we have Mrs. Cochran, who was the assistant director, and Councilman Street chairs that deal, and they do an incredible job. In fact, last year, your MPO won the national award for outstanding achievement in the non-transit management area. That is strong. And that's where all the highway departments in the United States meet and go over these deals to see what you're done. So hats off to the MPO. They did an outstanding job, and they won a national award last year. Also, we developed and adopted the 2019 and 2022, we call it the STIP, or the Transportation Improvement Program, which we constantly add these jobs to our STIP program. So if you remember in the first STIP round a few years ago, we got $90 million. We had to put up $7.8 million in order to get that $90 million. And you're going to see a lot of orange barrels around Jonesboro this year, and you'll see that just in a moment. Some of those have already been led for bid, and we're going to have 3 more probably in the next 60 to 90 days. Next, we also secured RDOT's consent to install temporary pedestrian crossings at Johnson Avenue and at State Street, and that's in the process now through our MPO organization. In our community development grants program, we were very successful to obtain $5.78 million in grant funding in 2018, again, which we need to go along with our sales tax, because sales tax is basically the only revenue we have other than the ancillary services that we provide, the building license, things of that nature. So you saw the budget of $64.8 million. Real good to have $6 million to use for grant funding. We also completed 12 homeowner rehab projects, and we provided 4 homeowner assistance grants for low to moderate income families. Now, also, we did grants up to $100,000 to Jonesboro for nonprofit organizations. And that's incredible. What we're seeing here is that we're contracting with nonprofit organizations such as Mid-South Health to provide services to our citizens. We can pay for that through our CBDG money, Community Development Block Grant Program. So that's incredible that we do that. And we also created the Micro Enterprise Business Accelerator Program to spur small business development. We have asked Mark Young to join us next year in 2020, after this year, to see if he can match the money that we can set aside for that to help with the small business owners here in town. And we also graduated our first 18 participants in the inaugural Jonesboro Neighborhood Leadership Class. Again, what we're saying here is we're looking at people who want to participate in government, to get highly active and involved, to serve on boards, commissions, things of that nature, can be elected alderman, councilman, can be elected mayor. What we're saying is we want to have a school, and that's what this was, is to set up this program to go through all the departments within the city of Jonesboro and look at what they do, how they do it, where's the revenue come in, the expenses, and et cetera. And that was a very good program that we did. And my hat's off to the first class, and we should be starting another one probably in midsummer of this year, somewhere around May or June. Next, in our planning department, again, you all know that we adopted some ordinances and said sidewalks required in residential subdivisions. That was done in 2018, along with the new land use plan that was adopted. And we also passed landscaping and tree preservation ordinance in 2018. We also did the multifamily design guidelines. And what we're saying with that, along with the new duplex and triplex, if you come to Jonesboro and build, we're going to ask you as a builder to build that with good quality stuff and materials so that it will look good in 3 to 5 years and on down the road, and not throw something up that, again, will deteriorate very quickly and make our city look extremely bad. So, again, that was something that we were able to do in 2018. We also processed 388 commercial permits and 28 rezoning cases last year. So the planning department was very busy, and you all know that because you have to touch every one of those items. The street department and right turn lanes, many compliments that you all have told me about. We actually did 5 of those last year. You can see that at Red Wolf, we did it at Stallings, Nelson, and Race. The big compliments on those. One is on Race as well as on Stallings to get that traffic out of there and get it out safely. And then the last one we done was Phillips and Caraway Road. And we were very pleased to do that. The street department also striped over 236 miles of roads last year alone. And they manicured 37 miles of our major drainage ditches throughout the city of Jonesboro. The key to that is we've got over 300 miles of ditches in the city of Jonesboro. Now, we're doing a study with that with the Corps now. First part of the study came back and said that the cost of that would be $101 million. So what we're saying is that a lot of the property in Jonesboro and the floodplain, the floodway, is that we're going to have to look at that in the future because as you build, more concrete, faster flow of water, etc. So that's something that we're going to have to do through our stormwater program. We also started the Turtle Creek Mall pedestrian bridge, again on the Greenway Trail, and hopefully that'll be completed in the next few days. It's been very wet, as you know, and it's helped us up a great deal on that project. We also, they built detention ponds, two major ones, Browns Lane and Caraway, and also as well as Rains and Wilkins. Next, in our engineering department, engineering budgeted $1 million in asphalt overlays for this last year, but they also did $460,000 in sidewalk improvements throughout the city. They spent $400,000 on drainage programs, and they manage about $7.5 million in design as well as construction projects throughout the city. In our human resource area, now you can apply for any position online, or if you know of any position, you can pull it up on www.jomer.org, and it's all now online, which is real good, and it saves a great deal of time. We also revised the employee handbook, and that's something that primarily was just to update state and federal laws that have been passed, that we had to update our employee handbook last year. We partnered with area schools for job shadowing and intern opportunities, and I think that's good. We have a lot of high school kids that come through here and go through the various departments of their interest. If they're thinking about being an engineer, again, they spend a day or half a day or whatever they can in the engineering department. And that's been very, very well received, I think, from all of our school districts. Next, in the communication area, we grew our Facebook followers to over 14,000 last year. You can see at the top, this is the new logo that we've got here now. It's called Jonesboro. That O-N-E is in red, but you can see we're one Jonesboro. Everything that we do, we're all tied together in here in our partnerships, and we wanted to show that. So that's the new logo that we'll be using as time permits with our supply comes out. Next, we doubled our production on content on Channel 24. Again, just like live streaming now to the audience out in the citizens of Jonesboro, where they can be seeing this and see what's going on in their city. We also began a production of Jonesboro in 60 seconds. And Bill is doing that now, and we'll start that, being interview folks, trying to get out quick, short messages to the public that we think that they are to know. So we're real pleased with that. We increased the event coverage thanks to our new partnerships within the community. And we also redesigned, as we just talked about, is our logo, and we're in the process of redoing the entire website. Now, in our information systems department, we purchased the first city public safety mobile security camera. That's the 360 around, if you remember. And again, that's something that we can move. It's mobile. We can use that and do that. And so we'll be working with that on our public safety tremendously. In fact, Chief Elliott has budgeted and did budget for 2019 for more of these throughout the city. I think that's excellent. They're also motion activated, and so we'll be looking at certain areas of town, and I will depend on the police department to tell me where those need to go. Next, we're implementing new hardware and software and mapping systems on Streetwise for our fire department. We talked about that just a moment ago, from A to B, how to get there the quickest for time saving. We implemented and actually installed new printers in our e-ticket system for the police. So no need calling no more. If you get a ticket, it's already in the system. So if you don't know the prosecutor, I guess on the other end, you're in trouble. But anyway, that helps a great deal, and I'm very pleased that we got a lot of grant money on that, and also even through the Arkansas State Police. And I visited with the colonel Saturday night, and I think we're going to be able to get some more this year in that same area. Also, building facilities. This is your downtown parking lot on Cate Street. When we started looking around downtown, and we have over 580 parking places downtown. The problem with is for safety and for ladies to come downtown, and particularly at night, okay? We wanted those parking lots to look just like the hospital parking lot, if you will. I want them to see under the car, through the car, over the car, and around the car. That's exactly what we done. If you'll remember, you all approved. We took the money from the old fund that we had of 130, and CWL joined us in the purchase. And all these lights now, LED, is well lit in every parking lot that we have downtown. So you know how dark that was on Cate Street, because that's down below street level. Now look what it looks like. So again, we appreciate what you all helped us do in that regards. Okay. Also, we renovated the Earl Bell. If you remember, the only ADA we had, you come out the doors, it's just one single path right down for ADA, for wheelchair. That is gone. We have taken that and made it curvature around, architecturally set it up, designed. Now entering both sides of that, have electric doors, which we did not have. And so we're able to get in for ADA and Earl Bell. And that's really been something that people have dropped us a few notes on and said we appreciate it very much. These folks manage 46 buildings around the city because the city owns 46 buildings. So you can imagine on HVC, all of these things have to be. Ron Shaver and his crew does an incredible job. And again, and Ron will tell you, we upgraded our elevators in the municipal center, both of those last year. And they're also on call 24/7. He doesn't like me to say that, but they're on call 24/7. Okay. In 2018, your Craighead Forest won the Trail of the Year award at the National Parks Convention this year alone. In addition to that, the Digital Pioneer Award, we won that in Little Rock. And Jeff Presley and I and Bill Campbell went down and received those awards. And that is for the Opticons. And if you remember, the Opticons is what we put on the stoplights that the fire department can lock down that stoplight, get the truck through, and stop that vehicle. Because you got several tons going down the road at a high speed. And so, again, this won the state award on the Opticons. Also, we won the Citizen Service Award for the ISRA, and what that is the overlay of the maps at 911. It can tell you from A to B how quickly you can get there. We also did that. And then we also won the Trendsetter, or the Wellness Award, for the Craighead Forest Park. And we also won the honorable mention on education and workforce development through the Chamber of Commerce and how we work with them when industry comes into town. So that was a big award. So in the public safety, again, through the Arkansas business, we won that on the Opticons. And the Metropolitan Statistical Area Rating, this is very impressive. First of 84 metros in the South and Southwest, according to the Area Development Magazine. That's very strong in our growth in Jonesboro. But more importantly, we ranked 81 nationally and number 2 in the state of Arkansas on crime rate reduction from 10-year span. And what that is, the chief keeps that in their people 2008 to 2018. And they've got crime analysts that puts all that data in there. So they can always tell you that and show you what's going on within the city of Jonesboro. So I was real pleased with that report. 2019 projects is coming. Again, I wish this was just a little bit clearer, but what this is Southwest Drive in Highland. And to your top left will be your school, or actually Southern Bank. To your bottom left would be your CVS that's there. That intersection is going to have a dedicated right turn lane if you're headed from the south to the north. Long dedicated right turn lane. We'll take the candlesticks out. You'll have 2 going straight into Main, as well as a dedicated left turn. you're leaving the football games in Jonesboro High School, you're going to see that you're going to have a double straight as well as a dedicated right turn lane in that area. So that's going to speed up that traffic tremendously there. So we're really excited about that. In fact, the estimated cost on that is $1.2 million and 90% plans. The next one is on Highway 1 improvements. Estimated cost is $2.4 million. Our city share is $400,000. Estimated construction on that is 2019. And they're at 6% plans. In fact, I think they're further than that on those plans. Now, let me go back up just a minute on that if I can. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And again, this is the one that's coming over the overpass on Highway 1, which will again be 5 lanes down to, again, Forest Hill Drive. Then we'll come back down to 2 lanes and go on out further. So this is something that stacks up dramatically during the mornings, the afternoons in that area. You can see to the right, you've got Central Baptist Church there. You've got a lot of commercial development that has occurred at the bottom of your slide there. Walmart is there, dental office is there, and there's other things that's planned to go in that area. So that is something that we'll be really working on. So next is the airport railroad overpass. Again, you can see on this one right here, I believe they are at 6% plans, if not at, I believe, maybe 90 by now. We got the approval 2 weeks ago from UP, and that takes the longest thing on these projects is getting approval from the railroad to go over the railroad track. And so this should be able to go out for bids from the Highway Department. Estimated cost is $11 million. Our city share of that, which is, again is in the STIP, of $1.4 million. And estimated construction will be this year. They'll start construction this year. Highway 18 and Ellison Avenue overpass, you can see that it's hard to see on this slide because you're getting 2 overpasses instead of 1. The very large one on Highland and on down further would be the one on Watt Street, and they will start construction on that. In fact, they've already started some construction on Watt Street. The estimated cost on this, I believe, was a little over $25 million. It was awarded to Capital Paving Construction out of Jefferson City, Missouri. The Watt Street overpass should begin again in this year, and we really want to get that so we can get our emergency vehicles out in Industrial Park and Nelson School District. Yes, cost was $25.2 million. Estimated completion date total is 2022, but I hope that we can get that in by the late, I'm going to say probably late 2020 on the Watt Street, so we can go ahead and get those vehicles on out on 18 and in the Industrial Park. Highway 18 and Caraway, again, this is another area that is growing. The right-of-way acquisition is underway and has been completed. This will be $3.5 million cost. Estimated letting date is April of, and this is right around the corner, April of this year. They will put that out for bids, the Highway Department. And this is the new Forum and the Rotary Park. You can see it on the right-hand side sometime this year, and it's really going quick now, the Rotary Centennial Plaza. In addition to that, if you remember, we put in $250,000 to upgrade and renovate the Forum. That will be new drapes, the canopy you can see there in the picture, the drapes, the new sound system, the ADA, new concession stands, both bottom and top of the deal, and it will be amazing what you see. And I met with them yesterday, and we'll be getting that project started. In fact, we've already started bidding on some of those projects right now, putting it out for bids. So that's really important in our city. And the Hotel and Convention Center, again, as you can see here, and I think Craig is still with us, but we anticipate, I hope, that the opening of the Convention Center will be sometime in, I'm saying September? September of this year. 202 rooms, 40,000 square foot convention center. And folks, we've been needing state association meetings in this town for a long, long time. And now we're going to be able to get them because we'll have the facility to do that. So, and I'm also pleased to tell you that that the A&P Commission is working and will be passing to establish an employee that they will pay for with A&P that will be able to go out and have our Convention and Visitors Bureau. And that's something that's really needed. The bigger cities have that, and so hopefully they'll be doing that very shortly. Okay? Again, now you can see the ONE and the thanks to Jonesboro. Just going to take just a second to say a few words, and I'll close because I know it's been very lengthy. You know, I think we've got to challenge growth, and I want to say if you'll join me in embracing that. And we need to continue to work, I think, to rise the challenge, to anticipate it, to plan for it, and more importantly, to manage it. Our growth has been a tremendous catalyst for great things in our history, and it promises more of that in the future. Now, but I want to assure you that this growth and these changes that we will accomplish, it's one thing that we don't need to fear growth, but we need the opportunity to rise the occasion to meet those challenges and those boundless optimism. And I trust that you will join me in the same way that I feel in that. So just as I do each year at the end of the presentation, please allow me to say thank you for this privilege. And also, as I have done in previous years, I want to challenge you to keep our city, our country, our county, our state, our nation, and our men and women in uniform in your prayers. Those of us who serve and lead would be lost without them. We covet them, and we will always need them. So again, I want to say to you, thank you, God bless you, and God bless this community. Thank you very much.